Hi guys, in the previous video we have discussed case study number 16. In this video we will be discussing case study number 17. MCQ number 1. The allottees wanted a refund of their entire amount from Mr. Singh. Basically Mr. Singh is a promoter of a project. Do you think Mr. Lal has right to raise objection against the refund? Basically, Mr. Lal has given finance to the project. Okay, he is a financier. Okay, he is not allottee. He is financier to the project. Now, there has been a delay in handing over the project by Mr. Singh to the allottees. Thereby, what allottees have decided is they wanted Mr. Singh to return their amount. Now, whether the decision of allottees can be objected by the financier Mr. Lal, the answer is no. Financier of a project is having no right to object the decision that has been taken by the allottees. Thereby, option D would be correct answer. Allottees have right to claim refund, whereas Mr. Lal has no right to raise any objection against the same. Okay. Next MCQ. Basically, Mr. Lal was financier to project constructed by Mr. Singh. However, Mr. Lal is also constructing some other projects on his own. Regarding those projects, Mr. Lal is promoter. Okay, in the case study. Now, see, Mr. Lal did renovation and changes in the existing building. In one of the project that Mr. Lal is constructing, what he has done is in the existing project, he has done some renovations to the building. See, renovations and changes in the existing building and resold 1/3 of the flats in premium heights to some of the previous owners with respect to scope of RERA. Which of the following is correct option? See, if you are renovating the existing building, then you need not take the registration under RERA, provided you are not going to perform any advertisement activities for selling those renovated flats. But here in the case study, Mr. Lal has performed some advertisement activities and marketing activities for selling the flats in the renovated building. Thereby he has to register the project with RERA. Answer would be, first of all, RERA is applicable. Thereby A and B are not correct, where it says RERA is not applicable. From C and D, correct option would be D. RERA is applicable as Mr. Lal advertises for selling and flats are resold with new allotments. Next MCQ number 3. This MCQ is relating to other project by name Sun Residency. The Association of Allottees of Sun Residency brought the construction defects to the notice of Mr. Lal. After allotting the project to allottees and formation of society, is Mr. Lal still liable to the allottees? Identify the correct statement regarding the liability of Mr. Lal. See, after giving the possession also, the promoter will be liable for all the structural defects and all other defects in workmanship and quality of the project, provided such defects are brought to the notice of the promoter within 5 years from the date of handing over of the possession. That should be the answer. Now let's see. Option A says, once the society of allottees is formed, Mr. Lal, that is promoter, is not liable. It is wrong. He is liable. Mr. Lal is liable only towards structural defects. No, he is not liable only to structural defects. He is also liable to any defects that has arisen due to workmanship, to quality or provision of services. Thereby option B is also not correct. Next, Mr. Lal is liable towards structural defects or any other defect in workmanship, quality or provision of service or any other obligations of the promoter as per the agreement for sale relating to such development in the building if such defects occurred within 5 years. See, here the term occurred should not be used. Such defects must be brought to the notice of promoter within 5 years from the date of handing over possession. Therefore, option C is also wrong. And the best option would be option D. Mr. Lal is liable for structural defects. Here, only is not used. That is the difference between option D and option B. Option B. Okay. Here only is used, which is not correct. In the buildings, if such defects bring to the notice of promoter within 5 years from the date of handing over possession. Therefore, option D would be correct answer. Next. Regarding the flat purchased by Mr. Raj jointly along with Miss Ashima. Basically, Miss Ashima is wife of Mr. Raj. They have purchased a flat jointly. Which of the following is correct statement? Let us see statement by statement and see which is correct and which is wrong. Advance in form of deposit shall not be some more than 5%. No, some more than 10%. Okay. Promoter cannot accept advance more than 10% of cost of project. Therefore, this is not correct statement. Any amount of deposit can be collected. No, cannot be collected by the promoter until a written agreement for sale is entered. This is also not correct. Said transaction is Binami transaction. No, Mr. Raj has purchased the property from known sources and it is purchased in the name of Miss Ashima, which is completely allowed, being his wife. Thereby, this is not a Binami transaction, which is also wrong. The correct statement would be none of this is the correct statement. Option D would be the answer. Next. Another project, Lotus Square. The promoters of Lotus Square did not register the project with RERA authority as required under RERA 2016. What will be the consequences they have to bear it for it? The consequence is penalty up to 10% of the cost of the project. Let us see. Option A, penalty up to 10% of estimated cost of the project. Option A would be correct answer. Moving to descriptive questions. Mr. Ranveer sold his plot. Mr. Ranveer is a NRI. Okay. He is having a plot in India. He sold such plot to Mr. Lal. Basically, Ranveer is cousin brother of Mr. Lal. There is a relationship between Mr. Lal and Ranveer. Mr. Ranveer is a NRI. He is holding a plot in India and he sold this plot to his cousin brother Mr. Lal. Now, out of 8 crore, and the consideration was 8 crore. Now, of this 8 crore rupees, 1 crore rupees he wanted Mr. Lal to transfer him in the form of a gift. See, 7 crore rupees he has deposited in the account of Mr. Ranveer and 1 crore rupees Mr. Ranveer asked Mr. Lal to give in the form of a gift. Examine and analyze the situation. See, if you are giving a gift to NRI, it can be considered in the limits of LRS scheme. That is, under LRS, individual can withdraw up to $250,000 per financial year. Now, giving gift would also be covered under this LRS limit, provided it is given to the relative. See, under LRS 2,50,000 per financial year, permissible current account, capital account transaction, and subsumes gifts in foreign currency made to any NRI or person of Indian origin, provided he is your relative. Now, for relative, the definition is as per Companies Act. The term relative is to derive the meaning from definition provided in section 277 of Companies Act 2013, which means member so of a HUF or husband or wife or any person specified under rule 4. Under rule 4, cousin brother is not covered. Okay. So, according to the definition of relative under Companies Act 2013, it does not include cousin brother. Therefore, gift of sum of Indian rupees by Mr. Lal by way of cross check to his cousin brother would require prior approval of RBI. Okay, for giving this 1 crore as a gift to his cousin brother, prior approval of RBI has to be taken. Okay, next. Seventh question. Due to the earthquake in that area, architect of building proposed some alterations in the structure of the layout of the building. See, if there are any alterations has to be made, then the promoter is allowed to make the alteration only after obtaining approval of 2/3 of the allottees. Okay. Now, as owner of maximum apartments in the building, do you think X1 company limited is in a position to influence opinion of promoters and other flat owners? See, this X1 company limited is having 20 apartments in the building. Okay, it is allotted in respect of 20 apartments. Now, for calculating this 2/3 limit, allottees who are owning more than one apartment will be considered as only one allottee. Okay, here even though X1 company is holding 20 apartments, for calculation 2/3 limit it will be considered as only one allottee. Thereby X1 limited is not in a position to influence the opinion of promoters and other flat holders. Hope that is clear. By this we have completed discussion of case study number 17.